This episode of Sideline Warning is brought to you by Roosport, makers of the original magnetic running pouch. Whether you're biking, running, hiking, or even traveling, the Roosport clips to your waistband with magnets for an easy, convenient way to carry what you need without the bulk of belts or bags. Visit theroosport.com and use the code SIDELINE30, all lowercase, for 30% off their entire product line. Again, that's theroosport.com, promo code SIDELINE30. And now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put down your solo cups and fried pickles because this is Sideline Warning, the show with the perfect balance of hot sports takes, amazing insights, and good Lord, amen, get off my lawn style rants. If you want to be a part of the madness, call the Blitz line at 931-44-BLITZ. That's B-L-I-T-Z, because that's how you spell Blitz. And now, here to recap this week's biggest and best stories from around the Southeast and beyond are your hosts, the phenomenal brother Adam Russell and the golden voice of the Southeast, Dave Adams. Let's do this.
And welcome into Sideline Warning, everybody. As always, you've got the one, the only, the golden voice of the Southeast, Dave Adams, coming to you live and in living color all the way from the top of the state of Alabama, Harvest, Alabama. That's right, because like Harvest, I'm on top of the sports world, like Harvest is on top of Alabama. And as always, I have brought my friend along all the way from the House of Mouse, St. Cloud, the one, the only, the phenomenal Brother Russell. What's going on, Adam?
Brother, how you doing, man? I'm lucky to be here after the lightning storm we just had. I just knew my computer was going to get fried. So,
you know, you had a lightning storm today. It was, 116 degrees, feels like temperature yesterday.
And
you
today,
had tornadoes
today.
You had tornadoes last week.
Yep.
You might as well be in Alabama.
Month. I mean, you know.
You might as well be in Alabama.
Sure. It's 30 minutes to the beach. Can you top that?
If you live in Mobile, yeah.
You live in, yeah.
See. So last week we talked a lot of baseball. Did you get any feedback about the Mike Trout or the bunting to break up the –
No.
The what's the wow? How am I going to forget that word?
The shift.
Bunting the shift. The only feedback I got. Now I got some feedback, but Ryan Grover, who is an Angels fan, who goes to school in Georgia. Not going to say the name of the school or where he is. That's kind of personal.
Yeah.
But he is an Angels fan. He said on our Facebook fan page, he said, the only thing that he thinks that Major League could do is to start a game earlier. But if you did that, last week you made the point that said they're second or third in the American League in attendance.
Second.
If you start a game 6 o'clock even. I mean, they start at 7. If you start a game 6 o'clock in Anaheim, you think about the season ticket holders there in Anaheim. They usually get off work, 4:30, 5 o'clock? Mm-hmm. You sit in an hour traffic. They've already missed the first pitch. 99% of the people, if you miss the first pitch, you don't go to a game. So you would, because people like to sit there and intently watch a game.
99.
Okay, 90.
Okay. Anyway, you were making a point. I don't want to interrupt your point you were about to make.
If I miss the first pitch, I don't like watching the game because you get so much of what happens to that first pitch. In fact, you made a point last week to say that usually when you're watching a baseball game, when most people watch a baseball game, they just put it on in the background. And I made the point to say, no, my wife could vouch for me. And I think we have somebody who can vouch for me. Adam, did you want to ask my wife the question? Because she's standing right here.
Yeah, I want independent verification. Does Dave actually watch a baseball game from start to finish when it's on TV?
Yes, Adam, he does watch the baseball game from start to finish. However, I am going to have to call him on saying that he won't watch it if he does not watch the first pitch.
Oh, wait a second. No. That's not what you were brought into the room for.
That's what I thought.
That is a lie. He will watch it if it's the first pitch, if it's the last pitch, either on his phone, if we're at dinner together.
No. I have not watched it while we're at dinner together. Wait a second.
Best segment ever.
No, I have done it at a wedding. I have.
Dave.
Adam.
So if 99% of people won't watch a baseball game if they don't see the first pitch, but you do, are you a 1%er?
I'm a 1%er. I need more bourbon for this talk. If my wife's Amanda,
I believe one of your listeners, Brian Key, could vouch for his sports watching even during weddings.
I was
Didn't Homer Simpson do that?
Yeah, I was Brian Key. I was BK's best man during an Alabama Ole Miss game.
You weren't standing up on the thing
with my
a game on
beat, with my beats in my ear
while you were at the altar.
No, not at the altar, but
no, not at the altar at all.
Oh, AirPods weren't a thing then.
No, not the AirPods. I had the what were the ones that went around the neck? The LG. I forget the name of them, but the ones that went around the neck. I had the Tones, the LG Tones. Remember those things?
No.
Okay, well I had those. Brian can tell you.
I'm in shock, Dave.
Are you really? Yeah,
I am at a wedding against Ole Miss.
It's like we lost the game,
and it's probably your fault.
Okay, go watch Harry Potter. You fell asleep while we were watching Prisoner of Azkaban.
We finally found a replacement for Ben.
No, Amanda is not going to be the replacement for Ben. Maybe she can come on Unrelated at Birth every now and then, but we're going to get Blair on here to call her on your crap sometimes. Go watch Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'm done now.
You're done now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go. Adam says thank you. Hey, can you go bring me some more bourbon?
Negative.
This show started off horrible. I don't like this show.
No, wah, wah. You know, it's funny. I stayed away from Alabama LSU one time during a wedding. Didn't look at the score or anything because I was DVRing it. And as we are getting ready to leave the reception, somebody walks over to me and puts their arm around me and says, "Wow, what a close one, huh? I am so sorry."
Did you miss the game of the century?
Yeah.
No.
No. The game of the century is 9-6, right?
Right.
No, not that one. No, it wasn't that one. It was another close one. I don't know. I don't remember what year it was, but it was not that one. But they came over and put their arm around me and spoiled the game for me. And you know what? I was kind of glad.
So I've only been to 2 weddings during football season. Well, 3 weddings during football season. 2 of which I was allowed to have my phone out. One of which it was a family wedding and parents. Yeah. Hi, Mom. I know you're listening to this. So one of them was Alabama, Arkansas, home game. Keep in mind, my family has season tickets. We go to all the home games we can, unless I go to Halloween Horror Nights or all stuff like that.
But even then, you're watching it in the queue at Halloween Horror Nights, Dave.
Well, yeah.
We watched the A&M game.
We did. So we're at this lavish wedding, open bar of all things. Alabama, Arkansas. We're molly-whopping them. There's my word again. Beating the molly-whopping out of them.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with my phone watching. Everyone's out on the floor dancing. There's me, the brother of the bride, who's a good friend of mine, and a couple of guys. We're all sitting at the table of I had a smaller iPhone at the time. I didn't even have the Pro at the time. We're sitting there watching the Alabama game on a 5-inch screen just because.
Wow.
First off, who plans a wedding during the fall?
Yeah, but it's the Arkansas week, man.
It's an Alabama game.
No, it's not like
I don't care if Alabama's playing Alabama A&M.
I welcome you to post this out on the fan group and see what everybody says.
Oh, we will.
I have a feeling I would overwhelmingly win this one.
Just like you think Shrek is an adult
that one
movie?
Was at best 50-50. Everyone is split right down the middle. That was not overwhelming one way or the other. That's a valid
guys. If you think this is a good conversation, just wait till it's not sports on Unrelated at Birth.
Well, it's actually funny, Dave, that you've been talking memories of football and things like that because our first topic this week lead us into it.
Whoa! I got that good segue going. You like that? We're going to do. This is a kind of in between lull sports show, but I think I've said numerous times on this show that sports brings up memories, and not just the bad wins and losses, but it can really bring up family memories and bring up good childhood memories as well. was it last week? Yeah, last week when it was 73 days before football season. I think we're under 6. We're under 70 for sure. We're in the 60s now before Alabama plays Duke there in Georgia. Yeah,
Really
wonderful opening game in the ACC SEC Challenge. But which it led to my thought. What is the first Alabama game or first college football? I don't care if it's an Alabama game. What is the first college football game that you can remember attending? We had a lot of people respond, and it was on my Facebook, personal Facebook. So while I'm looking that up, Adam, why don't you tell them your first college football game that you attended, if you can remember that far back?
I actually do. We went a lot to Alabama games, and it's funny. I'm going to tell the overall experience that I had at first. I had this belief when I was little that I was a good luck charm for Alabama because I didn't understand at the time that we were Alabama. But at the same time,
well, in the 80s,
we didn't win every game, right? But I was looking back through some of the ticket stubs I have where we would play Cincinnati and Bowling Green, Southern Miss. It was those kind of games, that we would tend to go to because it's, not as crazy and that kind of thing. And looking back now, to me, every game was just as big. I didn't know who the other team was. I just knew Alabama won every single time we went. So I believed I was a good luck charm for Alabama football. I still have a little bit of a belief in that because when I turn the games off, we tend to do better, especially in the Iron Bowl. The last couple of years, it has been kind of strange. But the first college, and I believe you could consider it a college football game, was in 1985.
Okay.
I got a Cabbage Patch Kid in a football jersey for Christmas.
All right.
And just so happens living in Prattville, Montgomery is only 15, 20 minutes away. The Blue-Gray game was played at Crampton Bowl.
There you go.
And I took that Cabbage Patch doll to the Blue-Gray game in his football uniform. And that was the first one.
Cool. Do you remember your first game at Bryant-Denny?
It was I don't remember exactly the date, the year, and the team. It was one of those, probably 9 or 10 years old.
Okay.
My dad did take me to an Auburn game one time to see Bo Jackson play.
That's, I hate to say that's cool, but that's cool.
Yeah. I had an Auburn water bottle that he bought me as a souvenir, and I used it to catch a frog, so I could never drink out of it again.
Well, that's good.
So that's how old I was at the time, But no, an early Auburn game. We went to the Blue-Gray, and we went to a lot of Alabama games. Single-digit years and double-digit years. Don't remember the first one exactly. I just remember overall, it's kind of like Disney World, right? Like you remember the times you go, but it's more that you walk away with the experience.
I don't know. I can tell you the first time I went to Disney World.
Oh no, I can too. I'm just saying that it's for me. It was always the memory has always just been the grandeur and the pomp and circumstance of the pregame rituals that still hold up to this day.
Yeah.
That's what I remember more than anything else about rather than scores or who won and lost with that stuff. But there were several games. I mean, my dad worked for a company that got tickets from vendors and stuff like that, specifically with the Coke guys. And so we would go a good bit.
That's awesome.
A lot of fun doing it too.
Yeah.
I'd say if I can close mine out, I would say my favorite football memory with my dad was a game that he wasn't even at. Believe it or not. The 1999 SEC championship game.
Did you go to that game too?
Yeah, Alabama made it, and
I was in the band.
Yeah. And my dad called me and said that the Coke guy had called him and said, "Hey, I got a couple of tickets if you want to go," and he gave them to me so that me and a friend could go. He forewent his chance and said, "You take a friend,
cool.
You go and enjoy yourself." So I was there.
Who'd you end up going with, Lindy?
Brett Blaylock.
I don't think I even.
Brett.
I don't know. I don't think I do.
Yeah, Brett Blaylock. We ended up going. I remember driving to the Georgia Dome and everything. And I know I've mentioned on the show before, but I'll never forget the sound in that stadium when Freddie Millins.
Man, it was so loud.
Went out and turned that reverse field all the way back for a touchdown. It was just fantastic. So
yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
So my very first game, I was in 6th grade. We had just won the national championship. I know I've said it on here before, but I don't know if I've ever vocalized truly how it is. Jay Barker is truly my hero. I was an impressionable young kid. I've gone through some pretty rough times in 5th and 6th grade. And Jay Barker coming out there, he was a scrawny kid, starting quarterback for Alabama. And he comes out there and puts his faith on blast, basically. He lets everybody know, hey, God's given me this talent. And I was at a public school at the time. I had not switched over to Westminster at the time when all this was going through. And hearing him say that made me feel okay to live out my faith as well. Here's this guy on national TV that's telling everybody, look, God's given me talent. I can do this. And up until the day I got married, I had a Jay Barker, not poster, but it was a framed print hung in my house, in my apartment. Amanda won't let me hang it up in the house. We're not bringing her back in here to talk about that. I have no Alabama paintings hung in my house right now. Not even in my man cave. There's pictures of my girls.
Wait, not even in the man cave?
No.
Then it's not a man cave. Anyway, we'll talk that later. Continue.
Okay, anyway. So Dad got tickets for the 1993 Arkansas game. They had just put on the extension of the west stands, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there was some shade, but we were set in the north end zone. It was hotter than blue blazes. So the Jumbotron, I don't think was there yet. They didn't have the barn looking Jumbotron yet.
No, they didn't. They didn't come until my freshman year.
98. Yeah, 98.
The first game against BYU was the first one they ever had with
them. Right. And I remember seeing people like faint from heat exhaustion. It was just so hot.
Too. Yeah.
Come to find out, looking at the when I posted all this on Facebook, that was Kyle Gilbert's first Alabama game as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, kind of funny. So I know Alabama won. I can't tell you what happened to that game. I can tell you one thing I remember from that day, and it has nothing to do with football. Dad had just got a beautiful red 1989 BMW 3 Series. Adam's smiling because I drove that 3 Series in college, and he remembers it. But so we drove it down to Tuscaloosa. He was so proud of that thing. Dad, on the way back, we were happy. We were sweaty. He was ready to get home. He hit about 105 coming back home on the interstate and got pulled over. We had all of our Alabama stuff lined in the back window. I don't know how this happened, but I remember vividly this cop talking to my dad in the window saying, "Sir, if that was Arkansas stuff in the back window, I would have given you a ticket. But here's a warning: roll Tide. Have a good day."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
you talked to I know you talked to your dad about a lot of these. Have you talked to your dad about one of his first football games that he's been to, or any memories he had?
I think that one of the biggest memories he's got was he was there in New Orleans for the 78 national championship game against Arkansas.
Yeah.
When they were still in the SWAC, right? They weren't part of the SEC yet, But he drove down with one of my uncles, and they went to that game. So he was actually there when they won it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, he always tells this story about I can't remember who it was, but somebody fumbled the ball, and there was this Arkansas fan. The game was close right at that point, and we fumbled. They recovered it, and he was sitting around just a bunch of Arkansas people in this Alabama jacket, and this dude turned around and tipped his hat to him and said, "Thank you, Mr. Bama." Like that, and they were calling him Mr. Bama the whole time. So he ended up getting the last laugh on that one for sure.
That's great.
So yeah.
So I'm going back and looking here at on Facebook here, and so a lot of people, most people here that's listening don't know Brad Whitley, but he is one of my brother's best friends. He's, he comes to my niece's birthdays. He really is. He is, I guess, my brother's version of you.
Okay.
The biggest Alabama fan I know. And he says his first college game he went to was New Mexico State at Auburn in 1993. So his first game was an Auburn game. I asked my grandmother the first game that she remembered going to. She said she doesn't remember the first game she remembers going to because her mom and dad took her to a lot of games. But the one game that stands out in her mind was the 1958 Iron Bowl. Bama got beat really bad. My great grandmother, not her mom, but my grandfather's mom, my great grandfather's boss gave her the tickets, and they really didn't want to go. It was the day after Thanksgiving, or it was on Thanksgiving, or something like that. Yeah. They didn't want to go, but because this influential person gave them the tickets, they went. Well, they ended up getting down to the game, and those people weren't even there. So they could have just not shown up, but they wouldn't have had the memory. I know I've said this memory on the show before, but I'm going to bring it up again. There are certain ball games that stand out in my family's mind. My great grandmother, my Meemaw's mom, Mama G. I know I told this story before, where she is the sweetest Southern lady you would have ever met. She had dementia, but one of the things that brought her back to life was me saying, "Mama G, I love you, roll tide." She got that big smile on her face, and Mama G came back for 5 seconds, said, "Roll tide, Dave, I love you." Or it was David, because my family doesn't call me Dave. But she went to I'm going to fudge the year. It's not 73. I think it's the 74 Sugar Bowl that Alabama and Notre Dame played, and Notre Dame beat Alabama in the last second or something like that. It was, I think it's 74 if I'm remembering correctly. But they got to go into the game and they were just furious. I get my game temper from her. And if anyone's watched a game with me, you know exactly what that means. But they had left the game. They were walking out of the game, and they come across this Notre Dame fan who obviously had not been in the game because he was going against the flow of foot traffic. And he comes up to Mama G and says, "Ma'am, can you tell me the score of the game?" And I think the way my family tells the game is we really think tells the story is we really think he was asking legit. Yeah. "Ma'am, do you know who won the game? What's the score of the game?" She dog cussed him up and down, said, "You MF and Irish fan, go back to the MF and North. You know who won the game, bleep, 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 bleep." And to me, that's the quintessential story of Mama G when it comes to Alabama football, because she is the sweet little Southern prim and proper farmer's wife. And up until you start watching Alabama games, when you put that crimson colors on, she becomes the Southern football lady.
Take no prisoners. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
You talked about a game that meant a lot to you because of your dad. And I want to bring this one memory up too about Alabama football. My freshman year, and if I tear up here, I apologize, but my freshman year, I marched in the band. My grandfather was dying. He had weeks to live, dying of lung cancer, and he couldn't get out of his chair. He was pretty bad off. Every day I'd come out of band practice, I'd call Papa, and we'd talk for a good 15, 20 minutes. The first game was at Legion Field against Houston. I got to wear the suit. I was proud of myself. I get all into the garb. You know, I'd always told Papa growing up, I'd never played high school football. We didn't have a football team. He played college ball, and it was always something that Papa and I did together was watch football. And I always said, "Papa, I'm going to find a way to walk on that field for you." And band was the way I made it happen. I called Papa after that game. We won. And I said, "Papa, I know what heaven feels like now. I know that's bad. You shouldn't bring theology in, but he said, "Papa," or he said, "Well, David, did you see St. Peter? And I said, no, sir. I saw St. Bear. And we had a good laugh about that. The next game was against La Tech at Legion Field again, so it didn't really matter. We lost that game. Tim Rattay, I hate his ass, but sorry. But the very next game was Arkansas, September 25th. No, yep, September 25th. Papa had always told me, I will watch you on your first game at that hallowed ground at Bryant-Denny Stadium. He, by what I've been told later, he couldn't talk that day, couldn't move that day. But at 2:30, he made my grandmother put him in front of the TV just so he could see a glimpse and hope to see me on the TV. I always called him after ball games. Something told me not to call him that day. Come to find out he was dying that night. But Mom told me the last time they saw him smile was when they panned over and just a shot of me in the stands. So the last time they saw my papa smile was me on the football field at Bryant-Denny. Like he promised me he would do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Not.
No, man. Well, hey, you know what? I think it brings up a great point. You know, we've talked the 3 criteria of sports. I think there's definitely a 4th one, and this conversation shows it, the connection.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very little else. There are a few things. I mean, you know, anybody can find a connection with their family and stuff, but especially where we come from, the way we were raised, the part of the country we're from, there are a few things that can connect you, like sports.
Yeah.
Just one team that runs on the field. And that's why we're mainly Fogs. I mean, we
true.
have those types of feelings when we think about football games going with our parents. And, you know, I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm a big Braves fan. I used to call my grandmother after Braves games. You know, and I still to this day wish I could do that. You know.
Yep. Papa and I would watch baseball. In fact, he was. I pitched in high school, and I never heard the term, but Papa taught me the term "toe in the rubber." Whenever he'd say, "David, who's toeing the rubber for the Braves tonight?" And I'd say Maddox. He said, "Oh, that Mad Dog. He can paint them corners, can he?" You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, and one more story about, not a story, but just a tag on to the thing about Papa. At his funeral, September 28th, I know that day that's part of the reason I go to Horror Nights with you that week.
Yeah.
A, it's your birthday, but B, it's something fun to do that week when it was 20 years ago this year, 21 years ago this year, but you never, or 20 years ago this year, but you never get over it.
Yeah.
But every single person that came up to me at the funeral said, David, the very last thing I talked to Gordon about was how proud he was of you and being in the $1 Million Band.
Yeah.
You can make fun of me for being a band geek. You don't, I know that, but you know, people can make fun of me for being a band geek, but the legitimacy of it is I marched to the band because of my love for Alabama football and because of my promise to Papa.
Yeah.
15 years before I went to Alabama.
Yeah. So
there you go. That's if you ever wonder why I'm such an Alabama fan, it's because of Mama G and Papa. That's it right there. Yeah. And then I've carried the legacy on and probably made it a little worse, but
Well, it's funny because, my parents always took me and this is the last story I'll share too. My parents would always take me and it was a big part of, we'd watch the games. When I finally got to the age where I was interested, we would sit down and all watch it together and we'd put out a blanket on the floor in the living room and kind of have a picnic around the TV. Yep. And I can still remember the day we beat Miami in the 92 national championship game. We'd go into the t-shirt shop that night and they were printing them up fresh off the thing. And you were standing in line and it's just like a whole other age, Like there's not anything like that anymore. You know, you buy them off the internet. It's just not the same. But
because now they open up Academy at midnight.
No,
you're down in Florida.
I don't get that experience down here. Yeah, but I had the bright idea of bringing my parents and going along, and we had different seats, but we were close to each other to the first Iron Bowl in Bryant-Denny Stadium. You want to tell me how that went, Dave?
It was so cold. I actually got pneumonia. So I've got. Oh, you want to get a story about that? I got a story about that too. Yeah. Go ahead and finish yours, and I'll.
No, I remember they were luckily the seats that they ended up getting were under an overhang, so they were cold, but they were protected from the rain/sleet, weird weather that it came through that day. And the two things I remember the most about it, other than my parents being there and that whole thing, but the two things about the game experience I remember the most were the look on the Auburn players' faces when they walked on the field for the first time. And it wasn't one of, we're going to take them down. It was honestly awe. It was a little bit of wow, you know. Yeah. And the other thing I'll forget is that long walk back to Rose Towers. Oh. And I held my hands under a hot water faucet for a good 3.5, 4 minutes before I got the feeling back in my hands. It was so bad. We were all soaked and cold, and we lost, and it was just bad. That was probably that and losing to UCF.
Oh, the thing about UCF, I remember we were number 3 in the country at the time, and it was a beautiful day in Tuscaloosa. I don't know if you didn't go to Cali, did you?
What's that?
You didn't go to California, did you?
No.
For the game?
No.
Okay. I don't remember you watching that game with me for some weird reason. But it was a beautiful day in Tuscaloosa. But as soon as triple zeros
not
hit
USC, not USC.
UCLA, right.
No,
UCF. Okay.
Well, USC, UCLA, and UC. I mean, any of the U's.
Right. But the UCLA game, you know, I remember, you know, it was a beautiful day, the very first game of the season.
Yep.
And as soon as triple zeros hit, it just started storming in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, here we go. But the story about that 2000 Iron Bowl, the week leading up to it, I had the flu. But Dave's determination, I was not – you were going to have to – you were not going to keep me off of that field for my first Iron Bowl in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yep.
Because of the weather that day, I got pneumonia. And I was in the hospital the next week because of being on the field with the flu.
And you're laying in the bed the whole time. It was so worth it. It was totally worth it. Yeah.
Well, also, that was also the day, and you don't remember the band show, I'm sure, but that was the game that we did the team of the century. So we had all of these legends marching past me. Joe Namath marched past me. Ken Stabler marched past me. In my mind, Jay Barker walked right past me. So was I going to miss that?
No.
No. I would have been, I mean, I could have been on my deathbed and they could have wheeled me out there.
Yeah.
I was not missing that. But anyway, go ahead.
I would say that all of these great football memories, and there's probably 100 stories we didn't share. That's probably the only thing that you can't put in a Roo Sport.
I was going to do the whole family thing, but I like your segue better.
You can't put memories in a Roo Sport, but the original magnetic pouch that lets you attach to your waistband with magnets without the bulk of belts or bags can hold just about anything else.
It can hold this massive phone.
It can hold his Pro that he's bragging about.
It's not a Pro. It's an XS Max.
Max. Excuse me.
Just like my dog.
Everything's Max with Dave. He's on top of the phone world, too.
I mean,
but yeah, seriously. I mean, when you're going to the football game to make more memories with your friends, your family, your kids, take a Roo Sport.
Exactly.
One way to hold everything you need. You don't have to worry about bag check. You don't have to worry about in some of these places like some of the speedways that have a clear bag policy.
Every stadium's got a clear bag policy now. In fact, when you come to you're still coming to the Tennessee game this year, right?
I'm trying to. Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, you'll see it. I mean, but you'll have your Roo Sport.
Well, I'll have cargo shorts on.
No, that's true. Yeah, not most people don't wear cargo shorts to football games, but Adam, he'll have that 12th pouch because he'll have his his 13 cargo pouches and his Roo Sport pouch.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But only the important stuff will go in a Roo Sport for sure.
Bourbon?
No, Dave. I'll be able to buy it in the stadium. Thanks to the
No, you won't buy it at any stadium where we're not doing it.
About that. We'll see about that.
www.theroosport.com. Go in there, use the promo code Sideline30. Get you 30% off your entire order. We say it every week. We love this company. They're good people. You're going to help support a good product. So www.theroosport.com, promo code Sideline30. Give them a check out. The other memory thing we will talk about, and this is, I didn't think that first topic would be a 30-minute conversation. Go figure. It's Alabama football and me and Adam. But the other thing we want to talk about is we're in baseball season. I mean, I'm sitting here watching the Braves game while I'm recording. Yes, I'm doing something while the game's in the background, but this isn't normal. Braves are up 3-2, by the way, Adam. Yeah. But when there's not a baseball game on that you really care about, when there's not anything, usually I go for baseball movies. And so I also put another poll up there on Facebook. What are some people's favorite top 5 baseball movies? I think Adam and I have decided that we're going to give you our top 9, like a batting order.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because there is no way I could have given you just 5.
No. Well, I had a top 5 and the first 4 out. And I was like, well, heck, that's 9.
Yeah. I will go ahead and tell you, looking at the Facebook post, a lot of people had Sandlot as their first one, which that's given. Your wife said The Rookie, A League of Their Own, The Natural, For the Love of the Game, and Field of Dreams. Mm-hmm. She's missing a couple of good ones. Trouble with the Curve. Yeah, I know. Trouble with the Curve is one that I haven't seen that a couple of people have mentioned. My wife mentioned Hardball. Chris Papchek mentioned Hardball. Is Hardball a movie I need to see, Adam?
I've never seen it.
Okay. Papchek says A League of Their Own, Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, Angels in the Outfield, and Hardball. He says $1 Million Arm is one of his that's up there, too. I've never seen that one either. But anyway, so the way Adam and I are going to do this, we are each going to give you 9 movies. So we're each going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. The only order I'm going to use, and I think Adam's used this too, is 4 is my, like a cleanup hitter. 4 is my go-to. 1 is the one, the leadoff is going to be the one that you expect to get on base. It's not one that you're just going to love every time you watch it. It's just a good baseball movie. Because
is it one? So 4 is one you would actually put in to watch. One starts the list of, if this is on TV, I'm totally watching it.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. So Adam, you're the visiting team. So let's go ahead. Who is your leadoff movie?
My leadoff movie is Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
That's a good one.
Coming up in the second spot is The Sandlot.
Hold up, we're doing it. Hold up.
We're going back and forth?
Yeah.
My bad. That's not how you announced the starting.
That's how. Well, but we're going. Okay, go ahead.
But, no.
Okay.
Just giving you a hard time. Go ahead. So who's your
my leadoff is in the same vein as yours, but I like to pay more attention to the Field of Dreams just because. I mean, come on. Who doesn't have – well, we'll get into this later. But my leadoff, The Natural, is loosely based on Babe Ruth. Roy Hobbs starts off as this amazing pitcher. He has an injury. He has to learn how to retool his game to become a hitter, and he becomes one of the best hitters in the game. Wonder Boy, come on. When he hits the ball and they hit that light and then you hear that dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Chills, man. Chills.
Hey, hit them into the lights. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, Adam, go ahead and give me your number 2. So
I already did. My number 2 is Sandlot.
Sandlot.
It's not my leadoff. I'm not gonna. I enjoyed it when I was a kid, and there's so many moments that you remember from it. They make T-shirts about it, so it's a solid number 2 pick. But I don't know if I'm going to go back to it as much as I would go back to Field of Dreams.
I'm the same way. Sandlot was my number 2.
Yep.
because it is quotable.
Oh, yeah.
But I've seen it so many times that it's almost not worth watching again. Now, I'll watch it with my girls.
Oh, yeah.
When
But you're not
it's
going to go
on.
after it.
Right, exactly. How many times a day do you say you're killing me, Smalls? I say it all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go to a baseball game and somebody's not wearing a shirt that says that, you're at the wrong place.
Right.
It's
And
mandatory.
how many times have you made the s'mores joke?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're dads. That's a dad joke right there. So that's a solid two. That's a Dansby Swanson of baseball movies. I like that. Now, the number 3 hitter, the number 3 hole, it's not the cleanup, but now in modern day baseball, that's where you stick your best player that you know is solid. He's going to get the best pitches because they're pitching around the power guy at cleanup.
I
So
bet we
who's
have
your?
the same one here.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. Who's your solid?
Major League.
That's a good one.
Thank you, Dave.
This is where I'm putting Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Because Field of Dreams, when you think of baseball, you think of Field of Dreams. When you think of baseball movies, you think of Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If they build it, they will come. I just teared up a little bit in the show, but if you don't tear up when Kevin Costner says, "Hey, Dad, do you want to catch?" You, sir or ma'am, have no soul. So Field of Dreams.
That's honestly why I put it as my leadoff, because I don't know if I would watch it over and over and over and over and like all that, but I like it. So,
Yeah.
It's up there in the same vein, but you have more passion for it. So that's good.
I do.
Good. Okay.
All right. Who's your power hitter?
Take a guess.
Number 4.
Take a guess.
You're putting Bull Durham here.
No, I've actually never seen Bull Durham. Ladies
I'm done.
and gentlemen, Dave has left the show. I've actually never seen it.
Okay. So this is probably where you're putting 42 or hardball.
Nope, wrong on both counts.
All right. What?
Think about who you're talking to. Think about
Moneyball. This is Moneyball.
Moneyball. Thank you, Dave. Yeah.
Okay. Moneyball's good.
Moneyball. Not only because of sabermetrics, not only because a guy goes into an organization and basically just flies in the face of everything they stand for to produce successful results, but he's a dad too, Dave. And when the daughter, I'm going to throw it right back at you. When the daughter is sitting there playing that song, and it's the first time he realizes he's ever seen her do that, if you don't tear up as a father.
I've watched Moneyball once.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't seen it since I've been a dad.
You might want to try it.
So, yeah.
All right.
My power hitter, and I said it when I was going through yours, Bull Durham. It's crude. It's crass.
Also, it's like being in a baseball clubhouse.
Exactly. Like it is Kevin Costner at his best. It's Susan Sarandon at her best. I can't quote the speech, but Bull Durham is the best baseball movie to me. All right. 5 is your back of the cleanup, or back of the middle of the order.
5 is you want to keep the momentum going after your cleanup guys knocked everybody in, right? So this is where I have the natural.
I like it. This is where I have Major League.
Okay, yeah, I can dig that.
Because Major League to me, and this ties back to Papa, if you want to know sports, what makes me the biggest sports fan in my life, it's Papa and Mama G. But the very first time I saw Major League, and here's the caveat, it's Major League 2. I like Major League 2 better than Major League.
Wow. You have no marbles.
Come on. The line where, you were all going to blow it in the ninth, and then Charlie Sheen, you don't see him, but you hear him go, blow it up here.
Yeah.
Put on the music. It's the wild thing. That's the greatest to me.
That is a good one. You're right.
Okay, so see, it's that story.
Yeah.
So to me, Major League 2 is now Jobu need more rum. There's good one-liners in Major League 1.
Yeah.
But Major League 2 is the funniest one to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it was the first one I saw.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But to me, there's so much. I mean, it's just the one-liners that make it for me.
That's true. And
All
the catcher reciting the catalog.
Exactly.
Matters too, right? Yeah.
Sir, you're standing on the tracks, and there's a train coming through.
Nice.
All right. So who's your 6-hitter?
Number 6, I have Funky Butt Lovin' with Rookie of the Year.
Rookie
of the Year. Rookie of the
Year.
Year.
Rookie.
Well, I was trying to get Funky Butt Lovin' out without.
Yes.
Rookie
of the Year is a great movie, but because no, it's not even in my top 9.
Wow.
Because Vance called me out on this. This is where I put A League of Their Own.
Oh, you're gonna capitulate, man! Oh my gosh!
For one reason and one reason only. The greatest, besides, "Hey, Dad, you want to catch? And if you build it, they will come." The greatest baseball quote of all time comes from A League of Their Own.
True.
Crying? There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, I agree. And that's
So
why
there
I
you
have that in my number 7 spot. So,
all right. So your 7 spot is
and you can see it. It's already written right there, number 7, right next to it.
I like it. All right. So my number 7 spot. 7 is usually where you have. I mean, it's an okay hitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that if it's on TV, you might pass it every now and then. But if there's nothing else on, you'll go back to it.
Yeah. And can I tell you the main reason? The main reason I have League of Their Own at 7 is the Madonna song at the end is so depressing.
Yeah, it is.
If it hadn't closed making you feel sad that people get old, I might have had it higher in the order.
I agree.
Anyway.
I agree. All right. So my number 7 hitter, and Adam, I'm shocked you haven't said this one yet because it combines two of your loves. Angels in the Outfield. It's a Disney movie, and it's the Angels.
And that's why I have that in my number 8 spot. I can't put. I love that movie. Hey, it could happen. I mean,
Right.
it's a great. It's just like that stereotypical '90s goofy Disney stuff, right?
Right.
And I still believe that all Angels fans, when they're cheering for the team and trying to root them on, should stand up and wave their arms. I really do. But really, I can't put it any higher than 8. I just can't.
All right.
But that is my 8 slot. So there you go.
My 8 spot is Bad News Bears. That is, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a baseball movie. I'd call it more of a disaster comedy. But it's around baseball, so it's got that baseball connotation. So I'm going Bad News Bears here.
Okay, yeah.
So who's your 9 hitter?
My 9 is I like the story, and I think it's an underappreciated baseball movie. My 9, I have The Rookie. So closing out with 2 Disney movies.
So The Rookie doesn't make my top, but the only reason it doesn't. Now I've got my bench, and
I've got a designated hitter and a pinch hitter. So
okay, well I've got a couple of those too. I haven't rewatched it, so I don't know how the rewatchability of this movie is.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw it hit home, and it was such a good movie. 42.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The Jackie Robinson story.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
I can dig it.
And so I'm going to give you you'll probably go after me. Now you will go after me, but here's my bench, here's my DH, and here's my pinch hitter. So my bench that I'll watch it every now and then, but it's got to be nothing on. For the Love of the Game.
Yeah.
Another Kevin Costner movie. I can't believe I didn't throw this in there, but I've got it. Moneyball will probably be there. 8 Men Out.
Yeah, that's an okay one. Yeah.
and the rookie. My designated hitter that it's a hitter. It's one that will make you cry every time you watch it. Pride of the Yankees.
Yeah.
I hate the Yankees. Hate them with a passion. But today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
You stole my thunder. I was ready to do that.
The Lou Gehrig story, man.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's my DH. If I had to choose one to slot in here before anything else that I would put in, it would be Pride of the Yankees. The only one that didn't make the list that I did write down on it is Bad News Bears. So we kind of in that same thing towards the bottom. We all had the same kind of movies at the bottom, but Moneyball didn't make it, huh?
No.
Moneyball is getting sent down, isn't it? Is it getting sent down for some rework?
Yeah, it's going to get sent down for some rework.
Is it the next movie?
Yeah. Do you want to have? Let's see. How long have we been going?
49 minutes.
Do you want to have a quick current day baseball conversation?
You got a minute and a half. Go.
Okay. So I put this on the Facebook fan group, but I have a theory. We have seen Fulte pitch his last game as a starter in a Braves uniform. I see two options for Fulte. He either A, is trade bait, which right now there's not much trade for him unless he goes down to AAA and starts killing it. Or B, Adam, you've been clamoring for a closer with filthy stuff. Fulte is great for one inning. Fulte will be repackaged as the Braves' new closer. So that's my theory about Fulte. One other thing I wanted to get your opinion on.
Yeah.
We're talking movies. We're talking nostalgia. They announced a couple months ago, but they're starting to shoot it now. Space Jam 2. LeBron James playing the lead.
Does he ever play anything else?
So, thoughts are: will you watch it just because it's Space Jam and Looney Tunes, and we like Looney Tunes?
No.
I wish
I might Redbox it. I might Redbox it after it comes out. I won't go to the theater for it though. I know the NBA wants to be relevant again. I hate to tell them, but they're just not. LeBron's trying to check all the boxes to be as good or better than MJ in a lot of different ways. Now he's going to check the actor box. Next, he'll play baseball, and he'll try that out and try to get his batting average above MJ's. I mean, the dude's a trophy chaser. I honestly think he's too polarizing. When they made Space Jam, everybody loved MJ. It didn't matter who your basketball team was. When the Bulls were on, you were watching them.
Yep.
And it's not that way anymore. The NBA is not loved as much. LeBron James is a polarizing guy. He's a trophy chaser. Looney Tunes, honestly, while I still think they're some of the best vintage cartoons out there, they kind of fell off the radar. I think Boomerang is the only channel where you can go and actually watch them. And even then, you're kind of subject to the programming schedule, you know.
Yep. I think you're right.
I think that you take a polarizing guy with an irrelevant sport and package it together with characters that nobody knows, and I think you just have the formula for something that's going to try hard to make its money back but may fail.
Yep. I hope it does. I honestly hope it does. You're never going to get a Monstars anthem. You're never going to get Fly Like an Eagle. You're never going to get I Believe I Can
Fly. I mean,
even though R.
Kelly, man.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't have that CD?
Oh,
96, 97.
95.
Whenever. Well, heck, man, I listened to it.
I listened to it in college.
You're belting it out like R. Kelly. We all thought we could sing, you know. And
I could probably still do the Monstars anthem.
Yeah.
Wait.
Uh-oh. He's thinking. This dead air is worth it. I promise.
Probably.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, the most underrated song on that soundtrack, though?
Basketball
Chris
Jones.
Rock. Yep, Chris Rock and Barry White.
I got a basketball Jones, baby.
honestly think you and I listened to that in your Dakota a couple
I
times.
have no doubt. I have no doubt, man.
Wait, did you say no doubt?
CD changer installed.
Oh, I remember you used to make me get up out of the back seat.
And there's no other choice. And the remote was set up on the dash. Yeah, man.
Yep, I remember that. All right. Well, Adam, you promised some people that you would do an impression on the show. And so why don't you tell them if they want to get a hold of the show, how do they call the show? But do it in Watto's voice.
I feel like I'm ending an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway? All right, so if you want to talk to the show, call 931-44 Bleeds. But remember, we only take the money. Only money. Wow, that took it out of me.
931-44 Blitz if you couldn't understand Watto there.
And FYI, that's one reason I hate episode 1. I can't understand what anybody says half the time.
Misa call you, sir.
Well, and then you throw in the Trade Federation with what is he doing? It's like, what in the world? Anyway.
Unrelated at birth for this topic. But anyway, guys, if you want to follow us on the socials, we are at SW The Show. I am at DAdams419. He is at Runtide Run. If you want to get a hold of my wife to tell her that Dave, is better than she says he is, at MandaFay04. At MandaFay04. I'm going to get yelled at because she probably heard me say that. But also join our Facebook fan group, Sideline Warning Facebook fan group. Like us on Facebook. We are on, give us the 5 stars on iTunes. I don't know how the liking, subscribing thing is on Google Podcasts, but tell them how much you love us there as well. Give us a review on iTunes, please. We don't have that many. But I know we've got a lot of listeners. We see the listeners come through every week. So some of y'all go in and do some reviews for us, please. But guys, we say it every week. We mean it. I know it's cliche, but we do truly love the fact that we get some interaction with you guys. We say this every week. We're just 2 guys talking sports. This week was just 2 guys talking their memories of football and memories of baseball movies. But we truly love the fact that you take now an hour out of your day to listen to what 2 regular Joes have to say. So we love you for that, guys. We do love the fact that y'all take time out of your day to listen to us. So we do love you guys. Roll Tide, chop on. We'll see y'all next week. Roll Tide, guys.